getting all these messages from other Black people who were isolated or that, just felt like they couldn't do this for whatever reason, often because they didn't see people like them in that area. They're now messaging us and saying how happy they are to see that. And honestly, it makes me really emotional to think about it because I was once that person as well. I want this movement to be like a reaching hand and to provide them reassurance through community that we are there for them and that they can do this and they belong in this space.
In episode 81, I speak with Danielle Belleny, wildlife biologist, member of the BlackAFinSTEM collective, and co-founder of the widely celebrated initiative that showcased Black birdwatchers in June 2020, Black Birders Week. Welcome to the Casual Birder podcast. I'm Susie Buttress. As a casual birder, I take time to watch birds as I go about my daily tasks. In my show, I'll tell you about the wild birds I've seen, speak with other enthusiasts, take bird walks, and share stories from listeners around the world. Many, many events this year have led me to examine what I stand for and how I can do better. The biggest awakening for me was initiated by seeing the video recorded by birdwatcher Christian Cooper in Central Park, New York in May. Christian Cooper is Black. He was birdwatching in the Ramble, a semi-wild area of Central Park that is bird sensitive and where the rules tell dog walkers to keep their dogs on a leash. Amy Cooper, no relation to Christian, was walking her dog unleashed, presenting the possibility of her dog disturbing the breeding and migrating birds. When Christian requested that Amy put her dog on a leash, she refused. The encounter escalated to the point where Amy, a white woman, called the police and claimed that an African-American man was threatening her life. Fortunately, Christian Cooper videoed the whole interaction, and the recording did not support her claims. We know from so many other incidents that this could have ended in injury or worse for Christian. The enormous number of articles and commentary that followed this incident, the deaths of other Black people caused by police, the protests that have occurred, and the way protesters were treated made me consider more deeply the inherent racism in our society. I knew that there were people that held racist views and that nowadays those people are feeling more and more empowered to voice them. But I had never had to consider before how our institutions and our social contracts are set up in a way that impacts the everyday moments of people who are not white. This is a time to listen to what Black people are saying about their lived experience. Following the incident in Central Park, a collective of Black scientists and educators, known as BlackAFinSTEM, created an initiative, Black Birders Week, a week-long celebration of being Black in nature. They seek to amplify the voices of Black people who enjoy nature and the outdoors, to normalise diversity in these spaces, and to encourage more Black people to participate in activities such as birdwatching. Danielle Belleny is one of the co-founders of Black Birders Week. A professional wildlife biologist, Danielle is also a passionate birder who values being out in nature, sharing her knowledge and enthusiasm with others. I spoke with Danielle during Black Birders Week in June.
So I'll start off with how I got into birds. My gateway was through an internship that I had in my undergrad at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. The internship required me to basically walk around in the scrub brush of South Texas and look for bird nests. And I did just that, and I did it so well. The first nest that I found was a greater roadrunner, and I was able to watch these little eggs that turned into little babies, that turned into little velociraptors, pretty much. I was able to watch them fledge from the nest, and that was just a life-changing moment. Seeing that bird that also reminds me so much of home, it just really sparked an interest in me. So after undergraduate, I went on to do another internship with a Texas the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, doing more wildlife-based things, not necessarily just with birds, expanding my reach. And then I went into grad school at Tarleton State University, and that's when I started focusing a lot more on birds because I realized how important they actually can be for wildlife conservation, not just for birds, but they can be a species used to protect all kinds of wildlife species and all kinds of grasses and plants and invertebrates, and et cetera. I studied northern bobwhite, and I graduated about 2 years ago. Time is really flying, but through that whole journey, it's not that simple. It was filled with a lot of free falls, a lot of stumbling, a lot of hard work though. And that pretty much got me to where I am today. I'm now a wildlife biologist, and I really enjoy being able to, dig deeper in these questions of why and how ecosystems work and what we can do to help heal the planet. I develop management strategies and for species of conservation, for species of conservation concern, ranging from like box turtles to piping plovers to grasses and invertebrates. So I'm able to cover a whole wide range of things that my younger self would definitely be very proud of me for.
So if I could step back just a little bit, you mentioned about having to go out and look for roadrunners during your undergrad. But had you had any interest in birds or nature before then?
I definitely had an interest in nature before my undergraduate experience. I definitely did not really highlight birds nearly as much before college. So as a kid, I was the outdoorsy one, of course. I was known as like the bug girl or the one that would always go pick up the snake. There's a picture of me as like a 3-year-old holding a rat snake. And it's just who I am. It's very on brand. But as a kid, I didn't know like the names. And I didn't know how I could figure out what these animals and plants that I was looking at were called. So I would often like just make up names for them. And so, now that I'm an actual biologist and I have these tools to be able to figure out what exactly a species is that I'm looking at, I feel like I'm fulfilling a childhood dream of mine. It's really life fulfilling.
And as part of your work, do you act as an educator for other people?
I do. And I've had a range of different jobs and different levels of outreach. So in my most recent position at the Martha's Vineyard Land Bank, I would help lead walks, tell people about the birds that I see because, that's definitely my passion. Sprinkle in maybe some rock facts and geology facts too. Also, I'm pretty active on social media about just sharing my experiences as a birder. Both my Instagram and Twitter are filled with bird photos, both good and bad. I think most of them are actually pretty bad because I'm taking a digiscope photo with my camera through my binoculars. But hey, I'm having a blast, and I'm just staying true to myself and showing people how much fun I'm having on my own.
I've started following you and I'm already starting to work my way back through.
That's so exciting. Oh my gosh.
Just so I can be so jealous of all the things you've seen.
Yeah, when you come to Texas, we'll have to go birding together.
Oh, that would be amazing. Honestly, that would be such a dream. Was there anyone else in your family that had sort of taken an interest in nature?
I feel like them taking interest is a lot of me pushing my interest on them. So yeah, they love it. I've taken everyone in my immediate family birding at least once. And, they ask repeatedly like, oh, let's go do this. And I think, I'm not sure if they do it just to see the smile on my face, but I really enjoy them being out there with me. And I can't wait to, grab more of my friends and grab my nieces and my nephews into just being interested in science and just being proud of their interests in general.
What kind of things do you want to show people when you take them out and you see birds?
First off, I am a strong believer that no bird is a basic bird. There's no boring birds. Every bird is interesting. You just kind of change your lens a little bit. If you see a house sparrow or maybe a rock pigeon walking around, just like watch their behavior because they're really interesting just to watch what they're doing, what they're picking at, maybe something interesting about the bird physically. So really appreciate just the birds that you have outside your window in your backyard maybe because they're so interesting and they're still cool and they're still necessary.
That speaks to me directly because that is so me. And especially in lockdown as we've been, a lot of us can only see the birds that we've got just outside. Can we talk about what challenges you might have found as you were growing up or as you took your various courses?
Sure. So definitely growing up, I was one of the few Black kids that I knew that was really interested in outdoorsy kinds of activities and the one that would pick up bugs and pick up snakes and stuff. And I think that stereotype that Black people don't like to do XYZ outdoor activity is, deeply rooted in systemic racism and these barriers that prevent Black people from being comfortable in outdoor spaces. So I think as a young age, I was just a rebel in general. And yeah, I was just really passionate about it, what I wanted to do. And I knew that nothing that anybody else would say would change that. So I was very headstrong in what I wanted to do. And that carried on through my undergraduate. Again, I was one of the few Black faces that I saw in my undergraduate and also my graduate career. Again, I was just following that model of just do you, just stay strong. Through the racism, through the hardships, through the lack of connection that I had with my own community, with my Black community, it was tough at a lot of times. I went to grad school in an area that had an active Klan presence. So there was a Ku Klux Klan community within, I would say, 15 miles of where I went to grad school. So, I'm not saying racism is centralized in just those areas, but it makes me feel uncomfortable to have to go out and want to recreate in an area that I might face a possibly harmful situation. So, once I finished grad school, I was able to connect with this group of not just Black birders, but this group of Black scientists in this group chat organized by Jason Ward. And we had never met each other. All of us had just known, oh, you're a Black person that does science. Let's talk. Let's meet up because we need to have a community and be able to be there for each other. Once that group chat got started, I felt a lot better and a lot more comfortable about staying in my field and staying positive. I had that connection. And once that connection was made, it really changed what I wanted to do and turned around my perception of my career field. Jason is the Birds of North America
Yes.
on YouTube. He does those videos. And his brother, Jeffrey Ward, is he also is on those videos with Jason.
I've just started watching them, and
Aren't they awesome?
they absolutely are. So he set up the community, did he?
Yeah, he set up this group chat and he just DM'd us on Twitter, followed us on Twitter, said, hey, let's join this group chat together. And then this was about maybe a year and a half ago. And we were just chatting, just hanging out in the group chat, just sharing our experiences. And pretty recently, to segue into how the group chat has progressed, so because of the recent events with Christian Cooper and Amy Cooper in Central Park, we wanted to share our experiences as Black birders or as Black nature enthusiasts, because the event that happened to Christian Cooper, because it could have easily happened to any of us. And we wanted to make that public to all the people that were following us and all the people that might interact with us, to let them know, hey, this doesn't just happen once. This has happened before, and it will probably happen again. And this, the Black Birders Week came about mainly because of that Christian Cooper incident, but it's also for all Black lives. It is for it's for Ahmaud Arbery, it's for Breonna Taylor, it's for George Floyd, and all the countless other Black lives that have been lost due to white supremacy, pretty much. And we are not even able to process one Black trauma before another one happens. So Black Birders Week is not just for birders. It is for the Black community at large. It's for people to know that this needs to stop. First, we were just tweeting. We were just putting out our experience on Twitter. And then back in the group chat, we're like, oh, wait a minute. We should actually organize. And the genius in our group is Anna Gifty Opuku Agayaimen. She's amazing. She's actually an economist with no birding background. She's not a biologist or anything. She had us come to realize oh, you can make a thing out of this. She offered the hashtag oh, Black Birders Week. That would be a great idea. So with that, we were all right, let's get this rolling. And within 2 days, we had this whole thing organized. And I'm not surprised because our group is so talented and so smart, and I'm very proud to be part of them. But yeah, we organized this whole initiative in 2 days. The group chat was blowing up. And it still is, actually. I'm probably going to have at least 100 messages after this. But while we were organizing it, like I would wake up to hundreds of messages in like 2 different group chats and like a Slack channel and all kinds of things just to get us organized together. And yeah, here we are.
It is stunning to have been on the sidelines watching this come together and just suddenly appear and just everyone to sort of get on board with it. What are your plans? I mean, you're probably all sort of still so swept up in the fact that it's just gone so amazingly.
Well, the Black AF in STEM, the whole purpose of it is to celebrate all Black people in all STEM topics. So we're going to encourage more people from other STEMs to come into our group, to let us give them a spotlight, let us give them a showcase. And then we're also going to do the same thing again, have our allies amplify our voices, have people come in and talk to them. Because I mean, it's going to be a big movement, right? We are already making waves, and this is 2 days in, 3 days in. And yeah, I want this to happen for all Black people in all STEM fields.
There have been horrendous incidents that have happened.
Yes.
But it's very easy when you're privileged to not do anything about it. And my instinct was to support, but not really say anything. But then I read so much more that said, being silent isn't an acceptable...
Yeah, it's complicit.
Yeah, exactly. It's been the call to action to me to do something. And I'm hoping that will be the same for a lot of people. This is unacceptable. We have to stop it happening.
Absolutely. And that's part of our goal, to have our non-Black peers understand that the experiences of Black people trying to just recreate and have a release from the stress in their life and be outdoors, that we face discrimination when we try to do that we are often prevented and unwelcome in spaces like this. And that we want our peers, we want our professional organizations, we want our schools, our workplaces, they need to do better at protecting their Black members, to use their words and use their actions to actually be anti-racist. So I definitely want people to keep using the Black Birders Week hashtags, past this week. Black in nature, when you're Black and when you're in nature, use it. Let us see. I've been managing our account on Instagram and getting all these messages from other Black people who were isolated or that, just felt like they couldn't do this for whatever reason. Often because they didn't see people like them in that area. They're now messaging us and saying how happy they are to see that. And honestly, it makes me really emotional to think about it, because I was once that person as well until our group chat came about. So I want this movement to be like a reaching hand and to provide them reassurance through community that we are there for them and that they can do this and they belong in this space. They can take up space unapologetically. Also, this is Black Birders Week. So yes, we do want to highlight Black birders. This birding hobby is often seen as dominated by old white men. I can attest to that. I definitely see that a lot when I go out birding. And, oftentimes I end up just like drifting off by myself. I'm like, this isn't my scene. This isn't like what I want to do. It's not like the experience that I want to have. So yes, other Black birders are out there. We're here to have fun. We're going to have a great time the way that we know how to. And you don't have to feel weird being yourself.
You've talked about what you want to encourage and inspire other Black people to do. What can we do as allies?
So one way for the white listeners or the allies to be better allies to Black people in STEM, and also people of color and, people that are in marginalized groups, people with disabilities, LGBTQIA plus folks, but especially Black folks, which is what we're focusing on just right now. I want them to pass on opportunities to collaborate with well-known groups or big grants or well-known people by passing on those opportunities to Black people or people of color who do similar work to them. So take those big packages and just lob it over to a friend that you have, or lob it over to a Black colleague that you have. And that would be great. Spread some love. I get a lot of white people at conferences like to talk to me about race issues or, just tell me that how good of an ally they are. And it just makes me feel really uncomfortable because I'm there for the conference. I'm not really there to be whatever it is they expect me to be right then and there. So just chill out when you're talking to us. Just calm down a little bit. And also I want you to do action. I want you to not just say those things. Or if you're going to say them to the white colleagues to, put them on the spot and inspire them and push them to actually be more active in being anti-racist. I'll say protest any way that you can, whatever that looks like for you. Protest, and support. That's really what we need right now. Black lives do matter, and I need people to believe that and actually put action to that itself. Also, just stop calling the cops on Black people. It's an unsafe situation, and it could go wrong easily in this blink of an eye. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Oh, I'll add one more thing, actually. Donate. Donate to Black organizations. I don't want to list them right now because I don't want to leave anybody that's important out. But the Black AF and STEM group will definitely post ways and resources that allies can help support some great causes. Follow me on all my socials. It's at BELLZ is birding. Bells is birding on both Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, come see my bird pictures.
Follow Danielle and the members of BlackAF in STEM on social media and amplify their posts. Links to the BlackAF in STEM social accounts and to other anti-racism resources can be found in the show notes. There are also donation links to individual members of the BlackAF in STEM collective. I'm a product of a society that favours white people, and because I'm white, I benefit from that privilege, and I don't even have to think about it. I am learning that white people, who may not consider themselves racist, may nevertheless exhibit behaviours that reinforce the exclusion of people who are not white, rather than listen and learn how they could act in a way to be more inclusive. And I learned that if I do not speak out against racial injustice, then I am complicit in allowing those injustices to continue. I'm continuing to learn how to act better in allyship. So if there's anything that you heard in this episode that's not clear, or if there's something that I could have done better, please let me know. You can leave a voice message or a written comment on my website, casualbirder.com. Thank you to Randy Braun for designing the artwork for the show. The theme music is Short Sleeve Shirt by The Drones. Thanks to them for letting me use it. Check out their website at dronesmusic.net. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you'll join me again for another episode of the Casual Birder podcast.